Grade 12s, how's it? Hope you're doing so good. Today, let's have a lesson on strategies for industrial development, which is also under economic geography. Yes, okay. So, what are we going to be discussing, or in this lesson, we are going to study an overview of apartheid and post-apartheid industrial development strategies. Consider the concept and distribution of industrial development zones, which are IDZs. Discuss various spatial development initiatives, which are SDIs, and explore an issue related to industrial centralization and decentralization. Okay, um, so let's start about discussing um, industrial development zones during the apartheid. So the strategies of industrial development during the apartheid time. So you know that South Africa before were living under apartheid government and the apartheid conditions and so on. So let's discuss these industrial development strategies. Okay, first of all, just to open your mind, look, um, Britain came here came here specifically for land, okay? Because land has value, land is capital, land has resources, land has minerals. You can grow crops in the land, can practice so many stuff. You can practice your agriculture, your farming, can practice and also build industries in the land, okay? So that's the very important thing Britain was looking for, or the apartheid government was all mostly about. That's why they even forcible taken the land. Okay, so we have Transkei here. As you can see, you have Transkei, which is green. You have Bophuthatswana, which is orange. We have Venda, which is kind of light purple. I'm not good when it comes to colors, guys. Please forgive me. We have Ciskei, which is in the western side of the Eastern Cape, which is yellow, and we have Kazankulu, which is orange. Um, we have Kangwane, which is not sure the color. We have Kwandebele, we have KwaZulu, KwaZulu Natal, yes, which is blue. We have Leboa, which is I'm not sure what this color. Okay, Kwagwa as well. Okay, so um, so these were areas for black people. Okay, these were areas for the black nation, for the black people in South Africa. Okay, as you can see, Venda, Zulus, Ciskei, which is Xhosas, NNN. So, and Debeles. So going down. Okay, so the apartheid industrial development strategies were to maintain South Africa as a white republic. Okay, this is the aim of the apartheid industrial development. This is where to maintain South Africa as a white republic, meaning that making sure that the white is dominant. Okay, the white population is dominant, not in terms of population, but in terms of controlling the economy, the land, and so on. Okay, the second one, Bantustan policy to keep black people in their ethnic homeland, creating 10 homelands, as you saw. Okay, so KwaZulu, Ciskei, Transkei, NNN. These are the homelands, Kwandebele, NNN. So these are the places These are the homelands for these black people. So they were kept there so that they can be able to be managed and so on, creating borders and so on. But we're going to discuss this right next to this. Okay, border industries are growth points bordering the homelands. So there were borders between these places so that black people are not allowed to move freely, to move from Siskai, for instance, to the Cape, or move to the Orange Free State, or move to the Transvaal, and. So they were not allowed, okay? There were borders. Only if a reason is valid, maybe it's a work reason and so on. And mind you, maybe you're working for a white person, okay? Yes. So the aim of border industries was to keep black people in homelands, as I already explained. So the aim of these borders were to keep black people in their homelands, not to move freely around the country, okay, just like today. Okay, the incentives, for example, tax concessions, were created to attract industrialists to these areas. It was aimed at benefiting the white population. Okay, mind you guys, the economy was being managed mostly or dominantly by white people. Okay, yes. So black people were treated as inferior during the apartheid, and white people as superior. Okay, so there was no equality there. So this was to benefit the white population. Okay, yes, forgetting about blacks and so on. Okay, so National Physical Development Plan was also introduced in 1975. Okay, it had similar incentives as the border industries. So this National Physical Development Plan, which was introduced in 1975, had similar purposes or incentives as the border industries. Okay, the border industries were the one to keep the black people or the black population into their own homeland. Okay, it did not only locate at growth points bordering the homelands, but also in other locations. Okay, let's go down. So there was also during the apartheid system under industrial development, there was also a good hope plan that was introduced in 1982. It was introduced in 1982. Guys, let me explain something to you. Please don't get confused, or please know about these things, about these organizations and these projects, okay, that were introduced, for instance, in the apartheid system for industrial development strategies, okay, because they might come out during exams, okay. Yes, so any one of these might come out, so please bear in mind so that you can at least answer effectively and give the right answers. Okay, okay, let me continue. It focused on the basic, so this good hope plan focused on the basic needs philosophy. So this plan was to also develop in terms of basic needs. Basic needs, better infrastructure, giving houses, proper sanitation, and so on. To provide the basic needs, which is food, clean drinking water, proper sanitation, housing, education, healthcare, employment, in order to allow people to be productive and live life with dignity. Okay, this, mind you guys, this was mainly only made, yes, was made in South Africa, under South Africa, but only benefiting white people. So white people were only the ones with better basic needs, while black people were maybe fetching their clean drinking water from the rivers, from the streams, and so on. Proper sanitation, there's poor sanitation for black people, and so on. Better housing for white people, for the white population, not the black population. Okay, Yes, so better housing for white people, but only houses were only built and being constructed by government for white people, for the white population. Better education for white kids. In modern schools, they were receiving better education, while black kids were were even being forced to 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 have Afrikaans as their part of the language, teaching language in their schools. So they are suffering, so they were receiving poor education and so on, and even in poor schools in terms of the service. Healthcare, you will not even find out that a black person is even receiving a healthcare during the apartheid. So only white people were having this healthcare by lifting up their life dignity. Okay, employment is the very important one in this one. Okay, yes. So employment during the apartheid, for industrial development strategies were to only benefit the white people, mind you. So the employment was only created for white people, not black people. Okay, yes. That's why you even find out that during the time apartheid, a white person would not work for a black person, and even would find out a black person would not have a better job than a white person. Okay, yes. So that's how it goes. So yes, in order for to allow people to be productive and live life with dignity. Okay, let's go down. Okay, so now let's discuss post-apartheid industrial development strategies. So this is whereby now South Africa was experiencing democracy. This is whereby Nelson Mandela was elected and so on. So this is post-apartheid industrial development strategy. So this is whereby there was aim to address the inequalities. Okay, to address what? The inequalities. Okay, let me stop there. Mind you, during the apartheid there was inequality. Okay, so a white people was better than a black person. Okay, so a black person was inferior and white person was superior. Okay, yes, they were privileged. So so this aim to address the inequalities so that everyone must be equal to this country. Okay, in the post-apartheid industrial development strategies created by the apartheid industrial development strategies through social. Okay, through social. So everyone must have equal jobs. Everyone must be able to move from this place to that place. Everyone must equally participate in the economy of the country. Okay, economically, yes, political development or less developed areas. Okay, so this is why these homelands um, were less developed. Okay, so the post-apartheid government, which is ANC, were to develop these homelands, which were not being developed during the apartheid regime. Okay, yes. So the reconstruction and development program, which is RDP, so was also introduced in the post apartheid after the apartheid was introduced. Okay, yes, yeah. So aim was to eradicate the effects of apartheid and improve the quality of life of all South Africans by providing them with basic needs such as housing, electricity, and clean water. And etc. Like there are so many. So this is by now, mind you, during the apartheid there were only white people that were benefiting in better houses. The government was giving them better houses and so on. Electricity, they were the ones who were having electricity, light in their houses, and clean water. They were the ones who had clean water, while black people were fetching water from the streams, from the rivers, and so on. Okay, in their homelands. Okay, So now, in the post-apartheid industrial development strategies, RDP was introduced. I know maybe you've heard of RDP or you know RDP. Even those houses that you say, they're RDP houses and so on. So these are the houses. So the program is still continuing even still today. There are still RDP houses that are being built in the other areas, in the homelands of South Africa, mainly in rural areas and so on, which were mainly homelands. Okay, yes, in the Eastern Cape, in KwaZulu-Natal, and so on. Okay, so government is giving each and every person equally better houses, but mostly black people because they were the ones who did not benefit from these houses. Better houses, electricity, which is obviously to everyone, and clean water, giving them taps, introducing free taps to everyone for clean water and so on, to every rural area, to every village around. Okay, yes. So growth, employment, and redistribution, which is gear, was also introduced for the post-apartheid industrial development strategies. This was so gear was to improve the rate of growth of the economy in order to create sufficient employment for the population. So gear was to lift up the economy of the country. Okay, yes, by creating what? The employment for the black population. Mind you, the better working class during the time or during the apartheid was white people, were white people. So now also black people must also get some employment. Okay, yes. So for everyone, by the way, because this is equal for everyone. So yeah, this is whereby also the employment program was introduced under gear. So the slow growth of the economy limited the success of gear. So although it is growing, it is still growing, but it's growing slowly. The gear, peoples, and yes, and so on. So the slow growth of the economy limited the success of gear. So the economy of South Africa didn't just boom. Okay, yes, because in South Africa there is corruption that lacks the economy. There is. Okay, yes. So for these things and so on, it's very hard. It's not easy for South Africa to lift up the economy, but they are trying. Yeah. So these things slowed the growth of the economy, limited the success of gear. Yes. Because in order for us to have higher rate of economy, everyone must be employed. Because South Africa is still experiencing high rate of employment. Okay. Yes. Okay, let's go down to the concept and distribution of industrial development zones. So, yes. So we're still talking more about IDZ, which are industrial development zones. These are the IDZs. Okay. Yes, these are the zones that have developed, or these are the industries. Okay, that are developed in zones in order to create employment to manufacture goods, so that you can export them as a country. Okay. Yes. So the aim was to encourage manufacturing in areas, as I said, and use of resources in those areas to produce goods instead of importing them, which is beneficiation to the country. Okay, so these industrial development zones, IDZ, okay? Yes, please understand them. That is, guys. IDZ, these are the industrial development zones. What is their purpose? Their purpose, this is where to develop or construct or build the industries here in South Africa. Okay, yes, in different places, in different provinces, in each and every province, let me say. Okay, yes, these industries were to manufacture goods, when we're to manufacture the raw materials, which are goods that we have as a country, okay, than giving other countries so that they can manufacture for us. Okay, yes. So we're to manufacture goods and sell to other countries, and manufacture goods and use as a country for our own. Okay, yes. So than importing other goods from other countries. Okay, yes. So than importing other processed goods. You might find that the country doesn't have um, industries, but they have raw materials. So if they have raw materials, that means they can process their raw materials to become usable goods, to become a service and so on. Okay, so these raw materials, they are going to be taken to be processed to other countries and import them, and that is going to hinder the economy of the country, mind you. That's how it goes. So they are generally located around transport routes that have international links, for example, harbor, in order to promote exports. Okay, so these zones are located around transport routes, maybe around N2. If ever you drive around N2, which is National Road 2 in South Africa, if you're around, you'd find out these development zones, industrial development, this is IDZs. Okay, yes, so that our transports, which are going to transport these goods from these industries to harbor, so that they can be exported, so that they can easily locate or find these areas. Okay, yes, so that they are going to be easily transported to the ports, whether in Cape Town, in Durban, or in PE. Yes, so they are generally located around transport routes. Yes, you must know this. For example, harbor. Yes, which are, yes, in order to promote exports. So as I said to you, so in this industrial development zone, this is where you manufacture these goods. The horse and trailer comes, or the truck comes to fetch these goods, these manufactured goods, to the truck, and you drive down maybe to Cape Town. Let's say maybe these goods were manufactured in the Eastern Cape, so they're driving down to Cape Town. In Cape Town, you take these goods to the ship. You arrive in the port, mind you. You take these goods to the ship so that they can be shipped to other countries as exports, so that you can sell them and get capital, which is money. Okay, yes, and that is going to boost our economy. I think you understand, guys. So let's go down. Okay, let's talk about spatial development initiatives, which are SDIs. Okay, let's talk about spatial development initiatives, which are SDIs. Okay. 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 So the aim here is to promote growth in areas that are underdeveloped but have economic potential. So the aim of SDIs, which are spatial development initiatives, is to promote growth, economic growth, to be fundamental to the areas that have economic potential. Okay, yes, and mind you, these areas are underdeveloped, meaning that they have no infrastructure, nothing. Maybe they are rural areas. Okay, yes. For example, okay, creating new jobs and improved infrastructure to attract foreign investors. That's very important. Okay, so let me make an example. Spatial development initiatives, its purpose is to promote growth in areas that are underdeveloped but have economic potential. For example, creating new jobs. Okay, this is whereby maybe if I see some of the area in Eastern Cape, let me say Willowvale. Okay, yes, there's a place that is called Willowvale there. It's rural area. Okay, it has um, bad or lacking infrastructure. Okay, there's no tar road, there's a gravel. There is even the gravel is bad, is in the bad condition. Okay, yes. So maybe in these areas there are no water sanitations and so on. I'm just making an example. Okay, yes. So in this area, okay, in this area, since this area is I can say it has tourist attraction. The relief is also good. There is ocean in this rural area. There is the wild animals, rare wild animals you find. The beautiful forest, good relief, hills, ups and downs, and so on. So if you look at that area has tourist attraction. But since it's in the rural area, it's being neglected by the government, or like since there's poor infrastructure and so on, no one wants to go there. Okay, yes. So spatial development initiatives, which are SDIs, are to promote growth in those kind of areas, to promote um, growth in terms of creating new jobs. If ever there are new tourists that are coming there, maybe from England, there will be new jobs. People who are going to drive them, people who are going to construct and create their hotels so that they can stay on. Hospitality people that are going to work on those hotels and so on. And that is going to attract foreign investors, which is going to boost up the country's economy. So, Maputo Development Corridor, which is wide coast, and Lembobo are some spatial development initiatives. So these are examples of spatial development initiatives to the concept that I've made an example with, okay, of maybe will be. Okay, the Maputo Corridor Spatial Development Initiatives connected Gauteng, Mpumalanga, and Mozambique, resulting in a major trade corridor. It created many investment opportunities and upgraded infrastructure along the corridor. So, the Maputo Corridor Spatial Development Initiatives has connected, as you can see, it's here. Let's look at the map. This is Maputo Corridor Spatial Development Initiatives. It has connected the Mpumalanga, as you can see here, Bombela. So Maputo is in the Mozambique. It has connected Mpumalanga, Johannesburg, which is Gauteng, okay, as well as Mozambique, okay, 1, 2, 3, okay, yes, all of these areas, 1, 2, 3, okay. So these areas, Gauteng, Mpumalanga, and Mozambique, so that corridor connected them, okay, yes. So this is whereby this route from Mpumalanga to Johannesburg is going to be developed. It must have a tar road, okay? It must be maybe a national road from that place to next place, okay? Yes. So it's going to be fully developed, yes, in terms of the infrastructure and so on. Okay, now let's talk about Maputo Development Corridor. Okay, I think there's something that I've skipped. Oh, that was just a wild coast. Yes. So this is a wild coast spatial development initiatives. Yes, as you can see, there's no one here and so on. This place has a potential of receiving more tourists to boost up the country and to attract foreign investors to boost up the economy. Okay, so let's go down to Maputo Corridor. corridor. Yes, corridor. So Maputo Development Corridor. Yes, as you can see there, we have Maputo. We have Maputo here to Joburg. So it connected all of these areas, and these areas are going to be developed. So the Maputo Development Corridor has connected Joburg, the city in Gauteng, Pretoria, also the city in Gauteng, Middelburg, Nelspruit, Maputo itself. Okay, yes, all of these areas are being fully developed in terms of the infrastructure just because of this Maputo Development Corridor. Okay, let's go down. Okay, let's discuss the issues related to industrial centralization and decentralization. Okay, I think I must give you the definition and first explain what is centralization mean and what decentralization mean. But I think we're going to find out the definition around. But if we don't find out the definition on this concept, on this content, I'm going to give you. Okay, so industrial centralization is when industries are concentrated in a few core areas. Okay, yes, that's a definition I could give you. Okay, so industrial centralization, this is whereby the industries are concentrated in a few core areas. Okay, this basically means that the industries, all of the industries that are manufacturing different goods are in the same area or are in the same place. For instance, let's say here in South Africa, let me make an example of Gauteng. Gauteng have many industries, okay, which manufactures or process different raw materials, okay, but you'd find out that maybe all of the other 8 provinces have no industries, only in Gauteng, but we have our own raw materials in other provinces. So in order for us to process and manufacture our raw materials, we have to take them to Gauteng. So that's what centralization is. This is whereby it's in the few core area. So the industry, it's in the few core area, okay, or industries are concentrated in a few core areas. Okay, so yes, that's how it goes. So what is the positive impact of centralization of these industries? They share infrastructure such as transport, power, water, financial services, and so on. Okay, so the benefits or the positivity of these of the industrial centralization is that these industries share infrastructure, the same infrastructure, such as transport, power, water, financial services. Okay, meaning that, yeah. What are the negative impacts? Distribution of wealth across the country is unequal as one region becomes more developed than the other. Okay, yes, distribution of wealth across the country is unequal. Okay, this basically means that, let me go back to my examples. I'm someone who likes to make example when explaining something. Okay, so this basically means that Gauteng, I made an example using Gauteng. So Gauteng is going to be the province here in South Africa that has wealth, meaning that there's employment there, there's better infrastructure, there is, because there are these industries there. Okay, yes, and also people around are benefiting. But someone who's in the Eastern Cape or Northern Cape or Northwest or they are not benefiting. That's how it goes. That's what this means. So this also causes a strain on physical infrastructure. Yes, this also causes a strain on physical infrastructure. Is being overused and so on. So other problems, for example, pollution, congestion, massive rural urban migration, which decreased development around rural areas, slums, and informal settlements. Okay, so also the employment opportunities decrease in outlying areas. Okay, this so if ever these industries are on this same place, though this place is going to face challenges and problems, experience problems such as pollution, okay, because it's processing so many raw materials from different areas than than just producing its own raw materials around. Okay, yes, congestion, massive rural and urban migration. So people are now going to move from the Eastern Cape, from Western Cape, from Northern Cape, from to Joburg, causing rural urban migration. You know, guys, we've discussed what are the consequences of rural urban migration and the negative impacts, which decrease the development around rural areas. So these rural areas have no industries. So we take our raw materials. Let me say, let me make an example of apple. Let me say I'm the Eastern Cape. I'm growing apple. So I want to make apple juice with these apples. Ne? Yes. So since I don't have an industry to manufacture or process this apple to become an apple juice, I'm going to take these apples that I've grown maybe to Cape Town, which has or to Gauteng or Cape Town, which have these industries, so that they are going to be manufacturers. So there will be no development in rural areas. Okay, yes, that's how this means. There will be a slum, many poor people in this particular area, that has industry, informal settlements. Many people who have moved from rural areas to urban areas are going to build informal settlements and start introducing informal settlements on the place. Employment opportunities decrease in outlying areas. So there will be no employment around. Okay, there will be no employment around these areas or other areas. Okay, yes. Yes, so industrial decentralization is the movement. Okay, so now let's talk about industrial development. Industrial decentralization, I mean, so sorry. So let's discuss or talk about industrial decentralization. This is the movement of industries, okay? So of industries from core areas to the periphery, mind you. In centralization, this is the opposite of centralization, or this is the way of the opposite way of doing than just centralizing these industries. Okay, yes, this is decentralization. This is the movement of industries from core areas to the periphery. This is whereby industries are being distributed to all of the areas around South Africa than just being only in Gauteng. So the industries are going to be now introduced in Eastern Cape, in Northern Cape, in Northwest, in and so on. Okay, so yes, so the spatial development initiatives and industrial development zones played a part in promoting this. So both SDIs and IDZs played a vital role in promoting this decentralization of industries. Okay, so this will definitely help to decrease the problems associated with industrial centralization. How? So now, let me go back to my example of an apple. I'm a farmer. I produce these apples in the Eastern Cape, but I don't have I said I don't have an industry to process this apple to become an apple juice. Okay, yes. So if I take this apple to other provinces, this basically means that my province is going to go down in terms of the economy. So there will be no employment and so on, and people are going to start moving to other provinces, okay, to look for jobs, provinces that have industries and so on. So if so decentralization, this way, by now I am the Eastern Cape, I'm also going to have the industry just like someone who's in Gauteng. Okay, yes. So now I'm going to have this industry to process my apples to become apple juice. Okay, yes. So now I'm going to create employment because I will lead people who are going to work in this industry to process these raw materials. Okay, yes, that's how it goes. That's how industrial decentralization is all about. So it's more positive than industrial decentralization. Yes. So let's go down. I think that's the end of the lesson, guys. Yes. This just an example of, yes. Okay, that's the end of the lesson, guys. Um, See you in the next following lesson. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe, guys. Okay, more content is coming, as well as question papers. Okay. Um, I wish you a great day. Um, cheers. See you next time.